for Ashley's thumbnails, she has a very unique look to them, and so the first thing I'm going to do is go into Picsart, and I'm going to add 3 photos. You're going to want 2 that are going to be in the background so they have nice backgrounds, and then you're going to want 1 that is going to be a cutout over it. So you'll see what I mean when I go ahead and show you guys, but what I did is I added the 3 photos that I want, and then I cropped them so that they looked right for the background, and I just arranged them on an image that was 1350 by 760, and this is the size that we're going to use for a thumbnail. And what I did is I just figured out how they look the best by just obviously rearranging them and resizing them. And once I had that, what I went ahead and did is I clicked on my 3rd photo, and so this is the picture that's going to go in the front. So I clicked on it, and then in the top there is this tool here to move it forward, so I just clicked move up so that it would be in front of those 2 background images. And then a cool feature in Picsart is actually you can get a cutout of someone without having to like erase every detail. So when you click on the cutout option, you can go to the person icon, and you see that it only has Ashley, not the background, so that's a really nice feature of this app. And then if you want, you can use the brushes, like the erase tool and the draw tool, to just fix it, so that's what I did. And then click save once you're done with that. So now what I did is I just went ahead and rearranged it. I figured out how I wanted Ashley to be displayed. I resized it so it was big and it kind of stood out, and this gives like the 3-person effect she uses in her thumbnails. So if you want to do the drawing option, it's totally possible in Picsart. I'm saying this because it's free and the brushes are pretty good, but I want to go ahead and do it in Procreate. So the way I'm doing it is exactly the same. It's just that like whichever app you want to choose, whichever brushes you want. So this is Procreate Pocket and it's $5. So I just loaded my photo into here, and I'm going to go to the brushes option. And I want to use the shale option, so that is under calligraphy, I believe, or artistic. It's under calligraphy and it's called the shale brush. And I'm just changing the color to white because I want the outline to be white. You can obviously change it to whatever color you want, but I think white really makes it stand out and really is similar to Ashley's. And then what I'm going to do is I just tested the size, and I'm outlining just around Ashley and the different versions of Ashley. And as you guys can see, if you make a mistake, it's easy to like clean it up and stuff. But this just really adds a pop to the thumbnail and makes these individual pictures of her really stick out. So now once I have that, it's time to add the text. So I went to the new layer option, and in order to do this, what you're going to want to do is basically get a color from the background. So I chose the blue by holding it down over the blue background, and I just wrote the text that I wanted to have. So I think I wrote my style evolution, and if you don't have good handwriting, this is hard. It was even hard for me, and I consider myself to have good handwriting, so there are definitely like font options in Fonto you can use, but what I did is I just wrote over that, and then what you can do is obviously just fix it. Make sure you're using a new layer though every time you add text or do something, because if you try to erase, you're just going to be erasing all of your artwork if it's all on one layer. Now that I have that, I am just editing it a little bit so that it like fits the screen. There's a way to edit it, just modifying it, and that's another reason I like Procreate, because if you make a mistake or you want to like resize something but you don't want to necessarily change what you wrote, you can do that. Then I went ahead and I added a new layer, and then I went to a round brush option, and what you're going to want to do is change it to white or whatever color you want behind the text, and I would recommend changing the opacity a little bit. The other thing I did is I also arranged it behind the text, but yeah, what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of outlining the text. I'm not in love with how it turned out. I think you would really need to spend time just trying to play around with it and make sure it looks nice, but this general like outline is kind of what Ashley does in her videos, so I wanted to show you guys how she does it, even though I'm not really that good at it. But yeah, here you can watch me mess around with this for, I think it took me like 20 minutes to try and figure this out, and I still don't like it, but it still turned out pretty similar to Ashley's, so I'm happy with that. I don't want your love, don't come to me now. I don't want your love, don't come to me now. I don't want your love, don't come to me now. So the next part is to make the doodle text that Ashley uses in her videos a lot. So I'm actually making a better video this week explaining this, but it's, and in the video it shows a free option too, so you guys don't have to worry about that. So stay tuned for that, but this is how I did it in this app, and this is how I normally do it when I make my animated text. But what I did is I went into the app Procreate, I made a new layer, above just a plain background, and I used the chalk pen and the color white, and I just wrote out the text that I wanted to overlay over my video, so I'm just going ahead and doing that right here. Then I'm going to that layer option once I've decided, and I'm just unchecking that pink background and the background color layer. Then I'm going to modify, or just going back to where I was before, clicking select, clicking on the artwork I just made, clicking more, sharing it, and then saving it as a PNG. Now I'm going to go into iMovie, and this is how we're actually going to make the text. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to that plus sign in the left top corner of the screen and just add that text that you made in order to put into your video. You're going to want to click the three dots and then do picture in picture, and this is so it fades in too, so that it has a nice effect to it. Once you click on it, there's also these arrow tools up here where you can use to change where exactly it is, so I'm just resizing it to where I want it on the screen, and when it plays, it looks like this. So you're able to get that cute doodle text, and don't forget, I'm coming out with that tutorial later. So one effect Ashley uses in her videos is overlaying clips over cool backgrounds. So one of them is this kind of drawn on background. So I made a couple of them and they're at the end of this clip, but I just wanted to show you guys how to use them. Basically what you need to do is add the background actually in, and then just change the size. And then what I did is I added the video clip over top as a picture-in-picture. I got rid of the border by clicking on the border tool, and then I just went ahead and by clicking on each of the clips I was able to change the size of them. But when you're done editing, it gives you this really cool, like almost like 3D look, but I think it just adds more interest to an otherwise plain video.